Welcome back to another four-way woodturning project, and now this time it's Mike's idea to turn winged box, and it's a really interesting project and you really don't want to miss it. So please, after watching this video, check out Sam, Mike and Richard's version of winged box with wings, if I mispronounce that. So the links are in the video description. Okay, so these are the pieces that I'll be using for this winged box. So this will be the base, these are U, and maybe for the knob I'll use some other type of wood, depends on the scale and everything that I have in mind. And just to show you a rough sketch, hopefully this will show on the light, on the camera properly. This is all cross grain and the wings will be down here, this area here, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes. This is again rough sketch, so this will be mostly designed on the fly. So let's start. So this will be the lid, and this will go on a screw chuck, and I'll just round it over so I know approximately what I have in terms of diameter and how I adjust and everything. So this will be the top, and I can put a little tenon here so I can hollow it out later. So this is first prep work. Again, this is cross grain, spindle gouge. Smaller. I think this should be okay. Okay, so that's roughed out. So we'll start by making the bottom and the wings, and I want the wings to be on the lower end. Let's see. LATHE is running at 1600 RPM. And I want the base to be slightly below the wings. So let's grab a ball gouge. See how that works beautifully. I think this is okay. This is base is slightly lower, so the wings are will be elevated from the table, let's say. Just to see how this will work in terms of, I think I need to bring the wings a little bit more in, and if I do that, let's see, and then reverse curve, maybe a little bit. Okay, that's cut really nice and clean. I think I'll want to reduce some of this here, but I won't do it too much because I might be able to use it for hollowing. So again, spindle gouge. How about this one? Let's try with a bigger one first. Get nicely into a corner with the spindle gouge. I think that should be okay. Nice clean corner, maybe small ridge here. Yeah, but that's pretty good. Refiner. Decoration, as Richard likes to put, and from this end just a little touch up. Okay, that feels super nice and clean. The tenon I'll leave as it is, and all I have to do now is just smooth up a little bit this here, and let's try, if I could find it, square and scraper. Fresh burr, and I'm using square and scraper because I can get into this corner nicely, and I'm using really light touch that feels super nice, just to finesse this curve here a little bit. And refiner has a reverse point here, so I can get into this point or corner a little bit easier. A little shear scrape. So the bottom should be done. That's beautiful. A little, like I said, ridge here. I think that's job for a refiner. Just a really light touch. I just want a little bit of dust coming off the scraper, and that's taken care of. So that's really nice. Just thinking, if I just sand the bottom here, will I be able to get everything from the other side? And I think I should be able to. Yeah, so let's first sand the bottom. Yeah, I'm pleased with this. Wings are looking nice and clean. So I can reverse this. This is VM 120 VICMARK chuck, and I need this key for it. Okay, so for the wings, I don't know. I don't want anything super thin. Maybe slightly thicker than this. I think that should look okay. So I'll first establish that at least somewhere slightly in, that way I have a little reference line. And that's going in reverse, which is not what I want. So ball gouge again. Lathe is running at 1700 RPM. Okay, let's stop here, let's see. Okay, the cut isn't the greatest, but it's not really bad. I am going a little against the grain here, but ideally you want to go this way, but it's much easier going this way to and actually see what I'm doing. So I like to finesse this a little bit. So these are now slightly tapered wings, which I think looks kind of nice, but I can refine this a little bit later. I can reduce some of the diameter here as well. Okay, so far so good. So I need to establish sort of a general design here first. Now I'll use a refiner for that. Okay, that feels good. So this is my lid. This is actually the inside, so something like this. Let's put a little shape here. Let's see how that is looking. At the moment, quite bulky. I think I might even reduce this diameter so I can get a little bit more curve here. And something else, the hole here isn't in the center, so on this I have a little flat spot. I hope you can see that. Here almost flat spot, and here I'm slightly in, so it's not completely centered, which is not a big deal, but it will look slightly off, let's say. So I want to go slightly more in with the wings. This lip here for the lid here with the box, I think it will be slightly smaller, but we'll see. Once I get a little bit more shape here. I'll go with the ball gouge. Nice shear cut. and it's a really nice clean surface, and I think that's looking much better. And I'm looking here, that little dome underneath the foot here, underneath the wings. There is slightly more that I need to take here from this diameter here to get it nice and flowing under or up through the wings. A little bit more. Okay, that's, I think, okay. Nice cut right to the corner. And that's looking quite good. So just to show you what I've done so far, so I hope you can see that the little bulbs here goes underneath the wings and come up right here. So that's flowing nice and well. I want to do something with this transition here, maybe bead or something, not sure yet, and maybe introduce a little bit more curve here. So again, ball gouge. I'll stop here. This is 10 mil spindle gouge, and going into a corner and going out, and I'll undercut it from this end to make a little bead. And that's looking promising. And feels nice and clean. Okay, so I'm loving this transition, and I think we need to do something here that will hold the lid. Okay, that's nice and clean. So this won't be suction fit, it's cross grain, and you want a little bit of movement in the lid and the base, because wood will distort a little bit. Okay, so that's my outside done, and now I can hollow it out. Ball gouge. Get the rest slightly up. Now I don't see what I'm doing here, so it's mostly by feel. So that's the bottom of the hole, but actually slightly deeper. So I just want to see where is that in terms of outside. So okay, so that's just beneath the wing here, and I'm going to leave it as it is in terms of depth. So I have this 10 mil ball gouge with a long bevel here that's 30 degrees almost. Something like that, asymmetric grind here, and what that will allow me to ride the bevel in this sort of a narrow opening all the way down to my desired depth, let's say, and I can use the scrapers for the rest. And now I'm just thinking here, I think slight rounded bottom should work here better instead of like flat bottom. So I'll position the rest slightly more to the left. Now again, I don't see what I'm doing here, but that's pretty good, and it's nice and clean. And I can go slightly deeper. Just need to remove some of the bulk here. And I'm using the right wing as a scraper almost, and just I'm not riding the bevel at the moment, just scraping across, just to remove some of the weight or the bulk of the timber. So now I can do one more cut. Okay, so that's super nice. Now the scraper I'll be using is this one. This is asymmetric curve profile, and that should work here nicely. So I'll just the rest here, get to a position, raise it slightly, and off we go. Again, I'm not seeing here much, so I'll do this pretty much by feel, and you won't be able to see anyway, so. Okay, that's going quite nice. Okay, I think that will be now ready for sanding. Yeah, so I'll do that real quick, sand the inside, and then we'll focus on the lid. This is 180 grit. And I can sand the outside and everything now. The flange here I won't touch, just a little bit. Okay, so sanding is done. Looks really nice, apart from the wings here. Now I was thinking maybe to introduce some of the angles here, but I think just keeping it nice and simple in this case, since the rest of the piece is quite busy, this doesn't have to be busy as well. So I'll use a pad, sanding pad like this, and this won't take too long, but I will have to put on the dust extractor. Okay, so now everything looks super nice to the touch as well. Nothing is sharp that will cut you or anything like that. So I can take it off the chuck and I'll blow off the dust. This is what we have at the moment. So you can see how this bottom curve goes nicely through the wings here up to this bead here, and then we translate here. So there is a connection between the, let's call it the base here and this top part, and the wings turn out quite nicely, and you can see the inside as well, quite nice. So now we can focus on the lid, and just before I start, I'll just measure the flange here. Okay, and this way as well. So you can see a little bit of movement already happened. So this direction, and here we don't have the movement. So it already warped ever so slightly. So first I want to true up the top here. And mark the flange, and I'll use a square end scraper just to make that first. Usually you would do the other way around, but here I didn't have much choice. At first I wanted to do the base. So that's almost fitting snugly. So with a nice sharp skew, I'll just widen the opening a little bit. And again, I need this to be a loose fit. Okay, so that's tight fit. So we need to take just a little bit more. So I'm using the side of the skew. Hope you can see the top half has the dust on. And that should be okay. So now I can actually make a rough shape on the outside first. Again, remember, this is cross grain work, it's not end grain. Let's see. The flange on the base ends up somewhere around here. And now that's a good fit, so it will be easy to open. I can reduce slightly more of this diameter and turn it into a nice bead. A gouge with a longer bevel, like this 10 mil, should be a little better. I did make a mistake by removing this here. I was planning on making a full curve here. So I'm still holding the 10 mil spindle gouge. Let's see if I can save it. I don't think I will be able to remove this line here. So this is all looking quite good. Get some rough shape so I know how much to hollow. That doesn't look right. Too big diameter. Get a bit more shape so I can see a little bit better the final proportion. Still, I think it's too big. Even this is too big, so okay, that's a little better, but still I think it's too big. And I think I'll stop here and now hollow it. Because I don't want to get it too thin here, then it will just vibrate. I won't be able to hollow it out properly. With the skew, I'll just slightly undercut this, like so. I can hollow it out with the ball gouge. More. Okay, that's pretty good. So the top end is nice and clean. And now big bowl scraper. Oh, the rest is too high. Again, this is cross grain, it's not end grain. If it was end grain, it will be a little bit easier to get nice curve and everything. feels nice, and just clean up the very center. So the sanding is done on the inside, so you can see how that looks. So let me see, I think I'm going to expand the jaws, try that way. And I have this little ridge here, hope you can see it, that register also the flange. And I think proportionally this now looks much better. And I only mark here as well the inside, the depth. And this I'll just lightly expand, and I can bring the tailstock just until I remove this bulk here. Just a little bit of pressure. Like that. Now I think there will be enough timber here to make a little knob as well, if I want to make a knob, although this is quite small diameter that you can grab here and pull the lid off. Just trying something out since I've made this little cove here, just to see how that looks now. I can remove the tailstock, it's not necessary anymore. So take the lid off and see how it looks. Maybe this reverse curve is okay here, but not this, not this big. And this is again small enough so I can just pick it up here. Down. Okay, the surface is sandable. This little knob here that I left needs a little bit more cleanup. I'll use a spindle gouge and just use it as a shear scraper, very lightly. You can see whispers that are coming off. Getting nice shape here. Get nice corner inside. Okay, so the box is signed, as you can see, has a nice little stripe here of sapwood, which really like. The oil that I'll be using is this Woodturning oil by Steinert. Nice stuff. And just put a little bit of on the inside. You has a really nice color once you put the oil on. And it works beautifully. It's not difficult to work with. Just be careful of the dust and everything, although I'm pretty sure that once it's dry and in this state like this, it's not harmful like bark or while it's growing, so, or while it's in the ground, let's say. And here it is. So it's looking really, really lovely. I'm quite happy with it. Now, if you're wondering why I'm holding at the lid and doesn't come off, if you watch through the video, I want looser lid fit. So, like I said, this is cross grain just due to size, and I can tell you the dimensions here of the square portion. So 120 mil, so that's 4.5 inches, something like that. And cross grain orientation, once I remove the inside and the shape or excess wood that's surrounding the shape, the wood release its stress also on the lid. Now some timbers do this very minimum, some more, depends on the tree or how it was growing, was it tilted or not, on a windy area as well. So all of that things have effect on how timber will behave after, but we account for that. And now this lid, it's tight on one orientation, but if I line up the grain, then you can see it's really loose fit, but only when I twist it you get this natural lock feature, let's call it like that. And it's quite neat, but I'll do monitor over the next few days if the base will warp too much that the lid won't fit over, or it will be maybe jammed. That way I will have to grab by the foot here again and just screw up the flange on the base. But for now I don't think it will go any further than this. And so, please don't forget to watch Sam, Mike and Richard's version as well of winged box. Links are in the video description. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video.